Hi guys! I thought I would do something a little different today. This is something that I am making for my younger grandchildren, and I thought for Christmas this would be fun, but you could use it anytime. And let me see if I can get a good photo. And so this is a cute little box, and I have this bear on there, but what's cool is when you pull it, all these dollar bills come out. When I open the back up, you can see there is a large roll, and I put 50 $1 bills in there. And then when they pull it up, they can count their money. I thought this would be funner since they're younger than a gift card. So let's get started with him. So I've done a template that will be below the video, and this is what it looks like. You can see all the different pieces that I'm using. To make the box, you're going to take this template and put this score line right on that score line and attach it together before you cut it out of your chipboard. And you want to use something a little heavier. You could use a heavy cardstock. I have two of these, and you can see the score lines in them. So you want to cut them and score them. I am just going to fold this back. What I had done before I folded these up, and I drew this little template right here. It's the slit, and I just drew it and used an X-Acto and cut this out, and this will only be on the top. So it's just one of the squares at the end. You just want to do it to one. And then I also found that it could be a little flimsy after you cut that. So I just cut another square just about the same size as this and cut a slit in that. Now I'm going to attach this to the inside to make it just a little bit sturdier. So I'm just going to use my double stick tape and just go around the edges here. And then a bit on the inside edge just to really attach it well. So when you make your slit, you want to, if you're not making it the exact same size as this, just make sure you line your slit up with your other slit. And I'm just going to press that down. This is going to be the top of my box, and I'm going to have it open from the back side. Here is the other piece that I've scored, and what I'm going to do is, first of all, glue this to here, then I will glue this edge to here, and this edge right here to here. So I like to start with this bottom piece and make sure it's not the edge where the slit is. So in the center of the second piece, I'm just going to line up the score line and the edge line. And do the same with these two ends. And as you can see, I'm putting the double stick tape on the outside, and it's going to stick to the inside of the box. Here we go. I'm going to fold this up. Start with one side. Line up the edge with the score line. Same with the other side. I'm going to lay it down here and press on the inside to make sure it's nice and tight. And there we go. We've got the base for our box just like that. Okay, so on this template, I've used this that's attached to this. I've used the slit template at the top. And then we just made another piece and cut a piece out to reinforce this box. Grab some cute paper to put on the outside. This top piece is 3.5 by 3.5. And this piece is 3.5 by 16. It will go all the way around, and then you're going to overlap them. So I am just going to use some tape and tape this little guy down. And really, you don't even have to do that. You could paint your box. If you're using a heavy cardstock that already has a pattern on it, you would be done. You wouldn't have to do any of this. And what I'm also going to do is on the two edges of this slit, I put some double stick tape also. So I am just going to line this up on top of here. Press this down. And on the inside, just going to make a slit. So just going to go right down the center here and do a bit of an angle and an angle and an angle and an angle. Push these up. And you can either tape or glue these down. I think I'm just going to glue this one down. Now, since I know this is going to be my front, I'm going to start at my back. And this is the 3.5 by 16. And I'm just going to line it up about in the center and lightly score these edges. Putting some double stick tape on the top edge. And then I'll put another strip at the bottom edge. I'm just going to put a small piece on this first end. Here's my back. Let's just line that up. And then just put one more little piece at the end to close this up. Okay, so on this one, I just stamped Jack's name on here, but you could add any fun, anything on here. On the top of this, I put Merry Christmas, but you don't need to, but you can add whatever embellishments you would like to this. So now let's get to my little topper. I'm going to show you this template again. I have a die machine that does some of this for me. I've had this one for a bit, so I don't know if it's still out there. I think it's called Forest Animals. But what I did is I drew the pieces out. Here's my tree, and I put that on some chipboard. Here is my bear, and here's the template, and you're just going to cut him out. You can cut all of the arms out if you would like, and you can see on here, you could cut all these, or you could just draw these later or just leave them. The bear, I want brown. And I just have this gathered twigs ink, and I'm just going to use that on this chipboard. So you can just use a dark brown heavy cardstock. I'm doing this, at least the base of it, on something a little heavier so it stands nicely. And all I'm going to do is just cover this chipboard with some of this brown ink. And you can see on here the body's brown, the belly and face, the ears, those are all going to be tan. The belly, the face, and the little ears to be a lighter color, but this is really light. So I think I'm just going to add a little bit of, I think this is vintage photo. And I'm just going to add a little bit to the belly, but same thing, just use the exact color you want. And then you can see on here, here's the placement for the belly. So I'm just going to glue that there. And you can use a glue stick, regular glue, double stick tape, whatever you would like or whatever works best for you. Now for the ears, they're so small. So I am just going to put a little dot there and a little dot there. And if you even didn't want to do this, you could use like a like a white marker or something like that and color those in because they are awful tiny. And then I'm going to put his face on. And then his little nose, we want to be black. So I think the easiest, unless you cut it out of black, the easiest way probably to do this will be just to use a little marker or something to darken that up, or cut it out of a piece of black. And you can see I've just darkened that up a little bit. I am just going to color this little guy in. Or I could have just put it on a black ink pad, but I probably would have ended up with ink all over my fingers. Okay, this is going to be good enough. And you could cut little teeny dots for eyes, but I am just going to use my marker and draw eyes in. This is going to be a whole lot easier. The next thing I did was I took another piece of chipboard, a lightweight chipboard, and put some green paper on it, and I cut out this tree. And then I also have the little stump that goes on the bottom, which is this little piece right here. And it was green too, so I'm just going to use the back side. And I think I will just ink this to make it a little darker. And I'm going to glue this to the tree. And then on here, I show you I have this little base. And then we're also going to want to cut this out. So you're going to cut this. So I did cut one out. Same thing. I'd use the same green paper for the tree and put it on some chipboard. And here we go. Here's my tree. Here's my bear that's going to go on top of there. And we need a piece that will hold it together. And you can see this is actually a tab punch, but it worked really well. Fold it in, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the two little pieces down here. So this is what we come up with, just like that. I am going to glue the inside here, and you can use double stick tape if you'd like. And then I'm going to darken it up, and you don't need to. And I am going to glue him and the tree to this. And it will make it stand onto the base. So since the bottom of the tree and the bottom of the bear are this darker brown, I am just going to use the same color on this base. So as long as you have the basic pieces like the stand and the base and the box, you could add any element to the top. You could make it for Valentine's Day, for Easter, put a bird in a big egg. I mean, you could add just a variety of different items to this. So I think, and this dries clear, so I am just going to put a rim of glue there. I'm also going to put a rim of glue right here. Make sure it's standing straight. I am just going to attach him to the top of this. think I'm going to add one into the center now. Push this tape back a bit. Now, if you're going to put a sentiment or something on top of this, you might want to just leave some room and push him further back. I'm just going to put him into the center, just to eyeball it. Make sure I push that down nice and tight. Look at that. Okay, so let's get to the next part. So what I did is I used 3 by 6 bags. And I used ones, but you can use any denomination or as many as you want. I did 50. That's just how I did it. And so here's the opening of the bag. And I am going to put it so this tape is looking at me from the back. So I'm putting it in like this, and I'm going to try to make sure they're all going the same way. So the back is facing me while I am putting it in here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to turn them all over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the backing, the sticky backing, and I'm just going to line them up so they line up. The 2 bags, stick it on top. Let's do another one here. So you're going to do as many as you want. Yes, and I was crazy and did 50 in all 4 boxes, 50 in each. So that was a bit, but it really was kind of fun. Okay, so let's just pretend I have lots and lots. I just cut a little tube. And what I'm going to do right now is I start and put it on the end of the tube. Nice and tight. You could use any sort of a tube that you would like. I just had these. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this first one, stick it onto this tube. And you can see anywhere from around 3 inches is perfect. And then I'm going to start rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And if you have a little air in there, you're going to have to squish down. So like if they wanted just $1, they really could just pull it out. So let's say I had 50 of these on here right now. I am going to want them to come up like this. So I do have one more template on here, and it's right here. It's the money to base holder. You're going to cut 2 of these, cut it right here, and score it right here. You could use a card. I'd use something a little heavier. You could use a cardstock. I actually had these fun plastic. So if you had some transparencies, just score one end, put tape there. And I'm going to cut 2 of these. So how I'm going to use these is the thinner side is going to be attached to the money. So I want it to come out that way. So I'm going to put this folded edge at the top and try to center it. And then this is going to go up. Let's do the same thing with the other side. The other side, line it right up. There we go. So let me roll this little guy back up. And we're just going to pretend this is nice and big and thick like my other ones. So I am going to open this box, and my big pile will be right in here. I'm going to make sure the front is facing forward, and I'm going to carefully, I'm going to make this so it's flat, and I can bet you guys know what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to tape this onto there, and you're done. And then you can do whatever added embellishing you would like to do. I'm going to make sure this sticks really well because that's what you're going to be pulling up. And then kind of line this up so it looks like it's in the middle. Pull it up, tighten it down. And there you go. Hope you guys thought this was fun. So what do you think? There you go. So now you can do your own, whether you want to put a big heart or a kitty or an Easter egg or whatever you want, but you have this fun little box and all you do is pull straight up and they can start counting all their money. So I hope you guys had fun with this and you give it a try. Even if you just want to use your own boxes that you have, you just have to be sure they're bigger than 3 inches. So, because your money is 3 inches, you could even put a roll of paper in it and just pull it out like the calculator paper just to write notes on. But there's a lot of fun ideas with this. So I hope you enjoy this and give it a try. And thanks for watching.